A beautiful country with an uncomfortable problem. Bangladesh is a country of extraordinary resilience. From its booming garment industry to its vibrant culture, world-famous hospitality, and remarkable economic growth over the past 2 decades, the nation has surprised many observers. Cities like Dhaka and Chattogram are full of energy, ambition, and opportunity. Yet beneath this progress lies a problem that many Bangladeshis themselves openly discuss: poor civic sense. Overflowing garbage, littered streets, illegal parking, reckless traffic behavior, people spitting in public, and waste thrown into canals and rivers have become familiar sights in many urban areas. This isn't about criticizing Bangladesh or its people. It's about asking an important question: why does a country making such rapid economic progress continue to struggle with basic public behavior? More importantly, what can be done to change it? Civic sense is often misunderstood as simply keeping streets clean, but it goes much deeper than that. It is the willingness to respect shared public spaces and consider how your actions affect everyone else. Waiting patiently in a queue, obeying traffic rules, throwing garbage into bins, respecting pedestrians, protecting public property, reducing noise pollution, and following basic hygiene practices are all examples of civic sense. These habits may seem small individually, but together they determine whether a city functions efficiently or struggles with daily disorder. Civic sense is not measured by income or education alone. It is reflected in everyday decisions made by millions of people. Walk through many busy neighborhoods in Bangladesh, and you'll notice a pattern. Plastic bottles, food wrappers, and disposable cups often end up on sidewalks or in drains instead of waste bins. Markets generate large amounts of garbage that can remain on the streets until collection. During the monsoon season, blocked drainage systems contribute to flooding in many areas because plastic waste prevents water from flowing properly. Public transport stops frequently become crowded and chaotic, while some motorists ignore lanes, traffic signals, or pedestrian crossings. Not every neighborhood looks like this, and many communities work hard to stay clean. However, the overall picture shows that maintaining public spaces remains a significant challenge in many urban areas. Whenever public cleanliness is discussed, many people immediately blame the government or local authorities. There is no doubt that stronger waste management, better drainage systems, more public bins, and stricter enforcement would improve conditions. But infrastructure alone cannot solve the problem. Even where bins are available, littering still happens. Roads that are cleaned in the morning can become dirty again within hours if people continue throwing waste carelessly. Governments build systems, but citizens determine whether those systems succeed. Civic sense requires cooperation between authorities and the public, not blame from one side toward the other. There is no single reason behind poor civic sense. Bangladesh has experienced rapid urbanization, with millions moving into cities in search of jobs and better opportunities. Population growth has placed enormous pressure on infrastructure that often struggles to keep pace. In some areas, public awareness about waste disposal and environmental responsibility remains limited. Weak enforcement of regulations also sends the message that rules are optional. Cultural habits passed from one generation to another can be difficult to change, especially when children grow up seeing adults ignore public responsibilities. Solving the issue, therefore, requires education, consistent enforcement, and long-term cultural change rather than temporary campaigns. The hidden cost of poor civic sense. Poor civic sense creates consequences far beyond dirty streets. Blocked drainage systems increase the risk of urban flooding during heavy rainfall. Improper waste disposal contributes to water pollution, affecting rivers and local ecosystems. Garbage left in public spaces attracts insects and rodents, increasing public health risks. Traffic congestion worsens when drivers ignore rules, wasting time, fuel, and productivity. Businesses may also suffer when tourists associate public spaces with poor cleanliness. Every piece of litter thrown on the ground may seem insignificant, but millions of similar actions create problems that affect the entire economy and quality of life. Many countries once struggled with problems similar to those seen today in Bangladesh. Singapore was not always known for its cleanliness. South Korea and Japan also underwent decades of social change before developing strong civic discipline. Their success came through a combination of education, consistent law enforcement, investment in public infrastructure, and widespread public participation. Citizens learned that public spaces belong to everyone, and governments backed that message with effective policies. Bangladesh does not need to copy another country's culture, but it can certainly learn from strategies that have proven successful elsewhere. Despite the challenges, there are encouraging signs across Bangladesh. Community-led cleanup campaigns, environmental organizations, student volunteers, and local initiatives are raising awareness about waste management and public responsibility. Many young Bangladeshis actively promote environmental protection through social media and grassroots movements. Some neighborhoods have introduced better waste collection practices, while businesses increasingly recognize the importance of maintaining cleaner surroundings. These efforts demonstrate that attitudes can change when communities take ownership of public spaces rather than waiting for someone else to solve every problem. Improving civic sense is not the responsibility of governments alone, nor can it be left entirely to schools or environmental organizations. Parents teach children through example, teachers reinforce positive habits, businesses maintain responsible practices, local authorities provide infrastructure and enforce regulations. Citizens respect shared spaces through everyday actions. Each group has a role to play, and lasting improvement happens only when all of them work together. A cleaner Bangladesh will not be created by one major policy, but by millions of small, responsible decisions repeated every single day. Bangladesh has shown the world that determination and hard work can transform a nation's economy, but true development is measured not only by rising incomes, new buildings, or expanding industries. It is also reflected in how people treat their neighborhoods, roads, parks, rivers, and public spaces. Civic sense is not about perfection or pointing fingers. It is about respecting one another and understanding that every citizen shares responsibility for the country they call home. The future of Bangladesh depends not only on economic growth, but also on building a culture where cleanliness, discipline, and public responsibility become everyday habits. Real change begins with one person, one family, one neighborhood, and one simple decision to leave every public place a little better than it was found. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Do you think poor civic sense is mainly caused by weak enforcement, lack of public awareness, or inadequate infrastructure? Share your thoughts in the comments below.